Well, it all started for me anyway. I had a couple friends that were not essentially good influences, and unfortunately, at the time, I wasn't a very good leader or a good influence for myself. So I took to these friends in an unhealthy manner. We started hanging out, and we started, experimenting with different things. I started with the painkillers, and my first run-in with prescription amphetamines was at a very early age. So my older cousin, being a year older than me at the time, I think he was 13, I think I was 12, um, he brought a bag full of these little blue and orange pills, and I didn't know what they were, didn't know what they would do. He was such a profound and strong influence over me that I was willing to take that pill. Take two of them, actually. Take two of those pills completely unbeknownst to what they were or what they would do. The experimentation with the amphetamines rolls into the painkillers and rolls into the marijuana. Marijuana was the most steady because I had somebody in my house that smokes regularly. So I always had marijuana on tap. While my drug problem, it went along for about 12 years, I want to say, continuously. So that really became the starting point of when I started using these substances to mask some of the trauma facing, instead of having to face them head on and coming up with rational decisions to help further my life. I started using substances. I had gotten severely addicted to fentanyl. In the midst of that, I developed an eating disorder. So I wouldn't eat for days and days and days. And I was so depressed through the divorce and my circumstances that I did not have the will to live, but I also didn't have the will to take myself out of this world. So I tried everything in my power to bring me to that point, and I began to severely get emaciated. I was 100 pounds, and I was using fentanyl every day. That's how bad addiction gets, is you lose everything, you lose everyone. You don't care. You will steal from your own mother who gave you life. So I wrote a bad check in my mom's name and brought it to the bank, and they red flagged it. They called her, and she says, "Don't arrest him, just don't write the check and send him on his way." So I'm leaving the bank. She calls me. She says, "James," she says, "you're going to jail or you're going to get help. Pick one." And I try to come up with every excuse, right? Every excuse to not going to help, not going to treatment, or that, just whatever you want. So I went into rehab, and that was really the turning point for me, was writing that bad check. I think if I didn't write that bad check, I think I would be dead. And I really wanted help this time. I wanted to be done. I was tired. I was beat up from it. The addiction had done its work. Yeah, I was tired and I was done. Withdrawals from these substances are something out of a horror film. It's only the deepest and darkest parts of the horror film that you can think of, stuff that they're not even really allowed to film because it's so bad that the general public is not allowed to see. That's what it feels like. It feels like a nightmare that you're stuck in. It feels like you're drowning. It feels like you're drowning, and it feels like you can't swim. It feels like you're frozen in place. You're underwater and you're looking up at the surface, but you can't move. And that's not even accounting for the mental withdrawal that you're going through. The anxiety, the depression, the rage, every emotion that you can think of, you feel it all at once while you're throwing up onto your own pillow. It is okay to be not okay. It's perfectly normal to be not okay, to not feel okay.